Hello, and welcome to another episode of Robin's apology tour and a little bit of a rant, not much, and some real good tips on opening a business. My apology is that there are so many gifted people in the world, in this country, and we don't give them the tools they need to start a business. They have fabulous ideas, they get it, they are passionate, and yet we don't tell them anything. We don't give them the tools. Unless you get a much higher education, unless you go and delve deeply into business, they really don't give you the necessary tools. I'll tell you how I started. I think that's really important, but I do want to apologize for you guys not knowing what I took a long time to learn. All right, so I started my company in 1984. I've told this story before. I found myself unmarried with small children. And before I got married, I'd been a bookkeeper in a pet pharmaceutical company, and I loved the job. I really, really loved the job. I'd always been budget oriented from the time I made 50 cents an hour as a babysitter. And I just pushed that into this job. And I ended up the senior associate bookkeeper, and I worked for a controller. And that controller was a wonderful human being who taught me so many things. And so then I got married, had my children. And when I found myself in the middle of a divorce, I said, I've got to go earn some money. So I went back to that background and back to bookkeeping. And so when I first started out, I had a little sole proprietorship, and I was making, hold on and wait for it, $9 per hour as a bookkeeper. And I thought I had died and gone to heaven. I hadn't worked for 11 years, and all of a sudden I'm making $9 an hour. And I had several clients, and I was doing their bill paying and some property management, reconciliations, and doing all those things. And I had a very wonderful friend who was a CPA who started his own company at the same time. So we kind of grew up together, and he taught me the tricks of the trade. I've been involved with incredible CPAs. I've taken classes. I've done all these things to try and be an overall good business manager. But one of the things that's most important in opening a business is your structure. And I can go into all of that in another video about a sole proprietorship, an LLC, an S Corp, a C Corp, all of that. But right now, I want to talk to you about things that are near and dear to my heart, which are your financials. Now, do you know that individuals who don't have a business should probably have a profit and loss and a balance sheet anyway? And I'll approach that in another part of this series I'm going to do. But this one is for entrepreneurs who have or are about to own or open a business. A small business, it's a passion of yours. You want to do it, but you don't think you have it in your budget for an accountant and a CPA to help you. Well, I'm here to help. I believe in you. I did it. I had to support my children. I wasn't in it alone. Their dad was helping, but I had to figure it out because I was someone before I met him, and I had things that I'd given to business, and I was good at what I did. And I thought, I can go back to that. I am a person, a woman who can be in business. So I'm here to talk to you a little bit. And when you, if you sign up for a course, you will get an incredible amount of information from me on this issue. So what I want to talk to you about, I'm going to define things for you because in my other videos, I may do a share screen, or I think it's called screen share, but I call it a shared screen, about a profit and loss and balance sheet. I'm going to talk to you about that right now because I think you really need to know. I do have a book out, and I love my book. I was passionate about my book, and it speaks to triggers and why we come about our relationship with money, and some of it's very flawed and damaged, and how we need to overcome those things in order to look at money more clearly. Well, if you've read my book, The Common Sense Guidebook to Mastering Your Money, if you read that book, you can analyze why you may be self-sabotaging, why this may not be working for you. But I'm here to say, let's go to that next step. Let's assume you've analyzed your relationship with money and now you want to get it on paper. So first, I'm going to talk to you about a profit and loss. A profit and loss is also called an income statement. An income statement is for a period of time only. So let's say you opened a S Corp, January 1st to 12/31. Everything that you earned or spent on your company is in your profit and loss. Income is not when you put money into your company. That's a balance sheet item, which we will talk about later. What this is, an income statement, a profit and loss, is what income did you derive from 1/1/2021, let's say, to 12/31/21. Whatever year you're in, what income came in. That means money from clients, money from vendors, retail money, whatever it is. That is what we're talking about. We are not talking about money that was loaned to you, loans you took out from a bank. Those things are not income. I'll give you an example. I have a bookkeeping company. When we invoice our clients and they pay us our bookkeeping fee, that is income to my company. When I pay my employees for the work they do, that's an expense. What else is an expense? Well, if you are in business for yourself, if you have one car, 50% of your auto, maybe 80% of your auto, depending on how much you use for business, a cell phone, auto insurance, auto repairs, computer expenses, the internet, utilities for your office, rent for your office, telephone, business expenses, office supplies, all of those things. And I do have a spreadsheet that will spell it all out for you that you will be welcome to use. Those are the things that can be deducted against that income. So we're going to talk about gross income. All right. Gross income would be if you had a W-2 before taxes are taken out. So you might say, well, I make $60,000 a year, but I only bring home 45. What the government will tax you on and took taxes out for is the gross income of 60,000. If you have clients who have sent you money all year against your invoices and it amounts to 250,000, that is your gross income. That is your revenue. Now, against revenue, which is the first thing on your profit and loss, there can be, let's say you give refunds. So you have an income line and you put all of your income in that line, but you had to give refunds of several $1,000s. Then that goes in and reduces your income because you had to give that income back. So we have income. It's called a contra account. I wonder if anybody's heard of that. A contra account, which would be a contra income account, means that you had to give refunds or you had to give something back. And then there are cost of goods sold. Now remember, this is all part of the income part. Cost of goods sold could be merchant fees. It can be things that are related to you getting to earn income, not your expenses, but cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold is a really interesting area. A lot of times cost of goods sold is inventory. And so you have income and then you have an inventory you carry and the inventory stays on the balance sheet. And when you use it, it can reduce your gross, your income and then have a gross income profit. So it's a little complicated and I've decided that sounds a little complicated. So you have income, you have a contra income account, but if you never give refunds, if you never have someone who doesn't pay you, then your income will stand as simply income. Money in to your business checking account from 1/1 of any year to 12/31. It is what hits your bank at that time in those 12 months. And that is your income. Then you get to start deducting expenses. And it really needs to be written down. We usually do it. Bookkeepers are a little crazed about this. Your expenses in alphabetical order. So if you want to do so, you can start writing them down and then put them in alphabetical order. Accounting, auto, bookkeeping, cell phone, computer, you get the drift, dues and subscriptions, education, those kind of things. And what you do on an income statement is you put account names and you can put an account number, but you don't put like Federal Express. That would be under postage and delivery. You would have a vendor named FedEx, but you would have a category called postage and delivery. You would have on your income statement, you could have income and you can break it down. Let's say you get income, then you have PayPal income, merchant credit card from a book sale. You can list under the heading of income all the different ways you get income, and you can split it out that way. That's really the smart way to do it. The more detail you get on your profit and loss, the better. And that could be on my company, it says income, and then it has bookkeeping services, CFO services, book sales, those kind of things are in my income. And then in my expense, in alphabetical order, are all the things that I've mentioned: rent, telephone, supplies, utilities, payroll taxes, payroll itself, payroll related expenses. Those are all deductible. They're, all kinds of things unique to your business. So if you were to join one of my groups, you would be able to see in color and, be able to feel and look at your income statement, and you would be able to organize your business. It's only early in the year you can do this. You literally can start right now creating your income statement. Now, that means if you get 1099 income, don't wait till the end of the year to create books. I get all the time, can you send me a 1099? I don't know the amount of money I made. And I say to myself, how can you not know what money you made? This is where we have failed our entrepreneurs in this country. You need to track everything you've done. Never say as a business owner that you don't have time. You can take 15 minutes a day and you can track your income. You need to have that in your arsenal for a successful business. Always know where your income is and where it came from. Really important to understand. Then expenses. Expenses, there are in business for yourself. There are so many expenses you can take against that income that then the net income, your net profit, is what you pay tax on. And people say to me all the time, well, what in the world does it mean net profit? What is an income statement? What do you mean profit and loss? Well, the rules are, and they may have changed a little bit, but the basic rule of thumb is if you have your own business, you need to show profit in the first 5 years for 2 or 3 years of the 5, or the IRS will consider that you only had a hobby. You don't want them to think that. I mean, a lot of businesses take 2 years to get up and running and to make a profit, but you cannot just open a business to show a loss and reduce tax. I am here to tell you, you must do it by the book. If you open a business, you want that business to be profitable. You are looking to pay tax. You are looking to be legit. We want to be legit. So all of you out there that are opening businesses just so you can put a loss over on your 1040 and reduce your tax, that's not what being a small business is all about. Most entrepreneurs, most small business owners are really working hard to make a profit. Now, at the end of the year, let's say you had $250,000 in income and you had $186,000 in expenses. That would give you a $64,000 profit, more or less. There are things when you do your taxes that change that, but on that money, you would need to pay tax, and you would want to pay, and it will move over to your front page. I'm being somewhat simplistic, but it will move over to your tax on your front page of your 1040, where it says other income and expense, other business income. That's where that number at the bottom of your profit and loss, Schedule C, will work over to your front page. Now, you could be in a relationship, a marriage where your spouse earns W-2 income. Well, that W-2 income will be on the 1040. And then your net profit will also go on that 1040. And that is where your tax will be derived from, including interest income and any dividend income or stock income. And you're going, hey, Robin, I don't even have a savings account. So what are you talking about? Well, you want to get there. That's the whole thing. You want to be able to get to this place where you have a profit in your business. Why? Because in the future, you may need a loan. You may want to buy another business, and you want your business to be profitable so that you can move forward and do more. If it's useless if you don't work hard at it. It's useless if you don't keep track of it. So if you're getting up every morning bright and early, working all day at your business, coming home at night, eating dinner, exhausted, watching TV, go to sleep, and you haven't checked in with the numbers for your business, then you're not going to be successful. Unless you make enough money to hire someone else to do that for you, I want to teach you how to do it for yourself so that, number one, you know what you're doing, and number two, no one can rip you off. Because if you're always checking in on your business, you're not going to be ripped off by some business manager or some accountant or something. You will know what you're doing. Now, I'm a person that says, hey, play to your strengths. If you're really better at sales and marketing, or you're really better at something else, or you're better at building the product and the brand and everything, you need to play to that strength. That's where your most value will be in this process. But that doesn't excuse you from not knowing what to do with your financials. Financials are the profit and loss and the balance sheet. So if I hold up this piece of paper and I say, okay, here is a profit and loss. It's sort of broken down the way you'll see it if you go further with me in this class and go further with me in the world of finances. You will have your income and profit and loss spelled out for you. You can put in the categories that are most meaningful for you, the ones that you will look at and understand. I have to tell you that I have several clients that have said to me, I really appreciate, Robin, the way you set things up, but it doesn't click for me. Can I give you categories that will make sense to me? And I always say, of course. What I like to do is, once I get the categories in place for this client, I like to set up file folders, even if it's virtual, on your OneDrive, wherever it is, or if it's physical files. I like the physical file folders to match the categories on your profit and loss. That way, when you're looking at the detail of your profit and loss and you say, I don't really understand that expenditure, you go over to your drawer, you go over to your file online or on your computer, and you can look it up and say, oh, I've got the backup for that. And believe it or not, next step is, when you have these things, you must save the receipt. When you make purchases for office supplies, when you spend on your credit card for your business, that receipt either has to be saved and scanned in and saved, or you have to have that receipt and attach it to your credit card, because your credit card expenses go on your profit and loss. Your credit card balance that you are not being able to pay off every month belongs on your balance sheet. Interestingly, they call it a balance sheet because that's where all your balances sit. So, profit and loss, I encourage you to create one that makes sense to you. My income is called this: income from sales, income from consulting, income from PayPal. If you want to do that, then you have a section and then it totals. Then you say, well, if you have cost of goods sold, I will do a little bit of a class on that. And then your expenses. Expenses are different than loans. Expensive. If you have a loan, the balance of the loan goes on a balance sheet, but the interest paid on the loan is an expense and is deductible. Now, there are really kind of strict rules about interest, but in general, if you have a loan for your business and you have an interest expense, as you pay down the loan, the balance goes lower and the interest gets to be expensed on your profit and loss. They are two separate things. So I talked to you about an income and expense piece of paper, an Excel spreadsheet. You get a software that helps you do that. And I am all for teaching you that. And I will get down to the nitty gritty with you guys and answer questions. No problem. Love it, love it, love it. It's part of my passion. So you now know income expense. Income and expense are integral to your success. You need to know your income. You need to know your expense. They are integral parts of everything you do. You will have peace of mind if you wake up every day and know that everything you're doing is being recorded and you can find out if you're profitable or not. One of the things people tell me all the time is, I have no idea if I'm profitable because I don't keep track. And so then they hire a bookkeeper, they hire my company, and we come in and say, oh, these need to be analyzed because it doesn't look like you're profitable at all. And you don't want that. You do not want that. So, profit and loss statement, I'm on it. I will show you. I am happy to help. Profit and loss is very important. Now, I want to talk to you briefly about a balance sheet. As I've said, balance sheets are the balances of money you owe. A balance sheet is the health of your company. When a lender will say to you, what's your balance? Can I see your balance sheet? They will want backup. If you have credit card debt, if you have tax liability, if you have inventory that's an asset, if you have someone else owes you money and you have a receivable. Usually most small businesses are cash basis. We'll get into accrual accounting, but lots of us have outstanding invoices, which are assets until they're not, and someone won't pay you. So you have assets and you have liabilities. A balance sheet gives you balances. What's in your bank account, what's in your inventory, what's owed to you, what you owe to others, what your loans outstanding are, what your equity in your company is, and what your final assets and liabilities, what your net worth is. So there's a lot of complication. And I know so many millions of you have gone on to loans and you have to fill out this application. And they say, can you list your income? And they do that. And then they say, can you list your monthly expenses? Well, right there, what they're trying to look at is your profit and loss. And then on another page, they'll say, list your liabilities. Well, that means if you owe a credit card company, if you owe on your mortgage, they usually separate mortgage out, but in general, liabilities are mortgages, car loans, credit card debt, other loans to other entities, those kind of things. What in the world do you have outstanding that you need to pay people, that you need to pay another entity? They want to know that because the balance sheet, all your balances are what shows the health of your life, the health of your business. The profit and loss is an annual thing. Once the end of your time frame comes, and usually it's the end of the year, the IRS doesn't like mid-year stuff anymore. They usually like small businesses to be from the beginning of January to the end of December, that goes away. Now you'll save it somewhere so you can look at it historically, but a profit and loss is only for a 12-month period. The balance sheet is forever. If you're in business like I've been for over 36 years, your balance sheet is what shows your credibility as a business owner. It shows if you're in debt for expanding your business. It shows why you owe it. And you need to explain. You might need to say to a lender, this is why I have this debt. This is why I don't have a profit this year. This is why I need your loan. This is the history of my company. You can see that I've been profitable all these years, but I'm struggling with this last year. That is why you have profit and loss, and that is why you have a balance sheet. It is urgent to do those two things. If you're in a business right now, if you're planning to open a business, that you really, really need those things. Something's buzzing on my wrist. I mean, when you work from home, so many things can happen. So here's what I'm here to tell you. I know how to do this. I love doing this. It's my passion, and I want to show you how to do this. I know there are a lot of coaches out there and gurus out there that are teaching you the next steps, like how to increase your business, how to get more clients, how to market, how to get profit in, how to make more income, how to organize your sales tools, and how to get a homepage and a web page, and stuff like that, and funnels, and all those really exciting new words that were not around when I was young trying to start my business. It was basically a big old ledger book, and you turn the page and you put the expense in. You had a section for your debt and a section for your profit and loss, and it was all by hand. So, and they laugh at dinosaurs like me, but I knew how to do it on a computer because I knew how to do it by hand. So I'm willing to start at the beginning, start from scratch, and show you about a profit and loss and a balance sheet. And I have the tools to do it. So I am going to welcome you into the project. And I want, with open arms, to tell you that it is not something you should be afraid of. You should welcome it because it gives you peace of mind. It lifts those bricks that you have on your shoulders off your shoulders. It says, I am a real business person with real books. I make a profit, or I'm going to make a profit. And that doesn't mean that you don't listen to all the people who know about funnels and marketing and VSLs and all those wonderful things, because they're good too. But I will tell you, although I did write my book, I wrote it a lot by hand. I would type it up, and then I would look at it again, and I would make corrections by hand. And when I sent it for printing to get it typed, they kind of laughed at me, but I think they understood when I'm typing or when I'm writing, I'm really getting something down that means a lot to me. I'm a person that likes to read it, see it, and say it out loud, run my ideas by myself and other people to make sure it sounds solid. And that's what I want to do for you. I have been in business a very long time. I have a lot of really good knowledge. I have never filed for bankruptcy, and I have really weathered a lot of storms in the financial world since 1984. And I have lots to give, and I want to encourage you to be on my team and learn with me. I will not abandon you. I will make sure you get the basics, and then we can even go further, and who knows what we can do together? Who knows what we can do together? I'm very excited for this prospect. And when we get further into it and you want to talk to me about it, I will definitely make sure it happens. From now on, we are in this together. Thank you for listening. My name is Robin Da Vinci. Go to robindavinci.com. If you want to see my other company, it is independencebythebook.com. And I've written a book, and I mean to be here for you. This year has got to be a healing and growth year for everybody. This has got to be getting back on your feet, figuring it out, exploring new horizons, and making everything happen. And it won't happen unless you put the time and energy into it. It won't happen by itself, because everybody else is out there spinning around and saying, I can't do this, I don't have time, and it's all BS. You have to make time. And once you learn to honor your time and make time, your business will thrive. And if you're not paying attention, that's when things happen. So we're going to pay attention. We're going to go back to basics, and we're going to learn how to set up a business properly. I thank you for listening. I'm looking forward to working with you, and take good care.